All right, welcome. Good evening, everybody. And as I promised earlier, we did do a video earlier today where we were just having a talk on kind of a heart to heart talk on some of the noise that's out there in social media world. We heard that stuff about what we saw with Trump. His team posted and all of that, and we what we did in that video, we wanted to address it in a way where it doesn't throw us off balance. And so if you didn't watch that video, make sure you check that out full show. Okay. And we do one of the things we like talking about on this platform. We like getting into the news. And so, but tonight we're going to talk about the news. But, we're going to be chill tonight, y'all. We're going to be chill tonight. You ain't even gonna see my face, okay? But what we're gonna do, we're gonna play some good music. That's what we're going to do, okay? How about that? And we're gonna talk a little bit of some Black American history, and we may get into a little news, okay? So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I'm also gonna debut my latest song that I put out. It's available to you guys via sombertree.com. So anyway, we're just going to give people time to get in. And meanwhile, we're just going to have some music playing here, okay? All right, welcome again to our special broadcast here that we have going on. And if you're just joining us, really appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, tonight we're going to do something that we did a while back, and that was, we're gonna talk some news. We're gonna get into some news, but we'll do that a little bit later, But tonight is kind of a chill night. It's Friday night, the first Friday of February 2026. Here in Arizona, it was another great day out here. I think we reached again another 80-degree day. So yeah, so we're the warmest spot I think here in the United States, in the continental United States, that is. And but it was very quite nice. I could have actually worn some shorts today, but I ain't ready for that. It's just too early. It's too early. But I did have my short sleeves on and windows down. It was very nice, very nice. I hope it was nice where you are, today. And even if there's a little snow and a little chill in the air and all of that, it's quite all right as long as the sun is shining, or even if it's raining. That's all. It's another day we get to see, and I'm so glad that we can share it together. So yeah, so again, if you didn't catch the video, the live that I did earlier, we just kind of, one thing we try to do here on this platform, and and those that follow this platform know we do this. When these current event situations pop up, even if they're silly, or just dumb or crazy or whatever, we do address it, but we try to address it in a way, that's mature, that we're looking at the full context of it. You know what I'm saying? And, and at the end of the day, as always, you're left. It's up to you on how you, whatever decision you want to come and, however you want to make up your mind. It's up to you. It's really up to you on how you, how you look at it. You know what I mean? But, but at the least, we're going to make sure that we look at the whole situation, right? That's what we're going to do. And then that's it. So we love history. So tonight we'll be getting into I'll be showing you some things I came across on the internets, some great Black American history. I think you guys will get a kick out of this. So we'll be going over some of that as well. And yeah, that's it. It's going to be really light broadcast. Hopefully this should go no longer than an hour. Let me play a little bit more for you here. And then what we're going to do after that, I am going to introduce you to a song that I wrote. And, thanks to AI, I was able to put it together with the music piece. And yeah, so we're going to check that out as well. So let's go ahead and get to that. Let's get to the next song piece here. And then after that song, we're gonna I'll go ahead and tee up the our debut album, digital album that we just dropped today. So let's go ahead and get to that next song, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope you guys, had a wonderful day. What's your plans for the weekend? I hope you guys have some restful plans in there. Make sure you fit in some rest and some peace and quiet in your weekend. As long as you're doing that, you would definitely be well on your way. Again, if you didn't catch our video that we did earlier, our broadcast from earlier, we actually did talk about the whole thing with Trump and what he posted, whatever. And no, and I made it very clear, no, I'm not buying into the, that was an intern or it was a mistake. And Trump has already repeatedly said he's not apologizing for anything. He didn't do it, but it's your platform. I mean, if you didn't do it, then who's posting that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you did. But there is a longstanding policy here in the United States for stuff like that. Presidents generally do not apologize for stuff like that. So that's not just Trump. You got presidents all that have done that stuff. Now, again, we made it very clear that it's unacceptable. I mean, no mistake about it. Unacceptable. And while you have many people who are saying that, he's got his loyal fans that are out here that are trying to make it seem, they're saying, well, it's, but the Democrats, they did stuff and, you got to get mad at that too and all of that. And I do get that. But the people you're naming, they're not president. Okay. He is. And so I do understand. And in their video, we talked about, again, it's just, what's really afoot is them, this system, it's not just Democrats. It's not just Republicans. It's both of them and then some. Have you guys, let me ask you this. And for some of you, it may not be your taste. It may not be your cup of tea. I have been watching this show, Fallout. Now, Fallout is based off of a video game. There was a time in my life where I was really into games like that. I liked the story behind it and all of that, but I just can't get into that now. So it's very deep, very, very deep, right? But anyway, I'll give you just a very short synopsis, right? I'll just give you a quick overview. Basically, the show Fallout, which, like I said, is based off a video game. It's about, this post-apocalyptic world where certain human beings, you got two types, we've got several types actually. Corporate America basically were the ones that were running the United States. Well, that's kind of where we are right now. So you had these different corporations and they were trying to figure out, hey, listen, we want a new way to hit this reset button, so that we have ultimate control. And so basically what they did was they all agreed to dropping nuclear bombs all on America. And so meanwhile, their people are safe, and protected in these underground silos and stuff, right? And so that's how they protected themselves. And then meanwhile, people who are trapped on the surface, well, you got all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, you have people who turn into mutants and, all kinds of stuff. It's quite an interesting show. And so, anyway, so in the finale that I just watched, they said, you thought, and this is what they said. They said, and if I'm giving it away for some of you, I'm sorry, but this guy who's perceived to be one of the main controllers, he comes out and says, you thought that the true experiment was going on in those silos. He said, no, the actual experiment was going on the surface. And that was like a mouth drop moment because everybody was focused on these silos and all the people in there. But in reality, it was all the craziness that was above ground because they're genetically changing people above ground and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. So anyway, all I'm saying is this. I know, Dwayne, what does that have to do with Fallout? These shows, these movies, as you know, they all are telling an element of truth, right? And this system is ultimately it operates with left hand and right hand. There is no just a left hand. There is no just a right hand. It's both of them working together. And so what we're seeing now, what we're seeing playing out is basically a system that needs, and I was emphasizing this before, they need people to stay in their emotions. Because when you're in a high emotional state, that is how you are easily controlled. And for us as Black Americans, well, that's part of who we are. You know, all humans have emotion, but, you know, Black Americans, there's just something about us. Like I said, we just embody this, right? And I'm going to show you a video, not tonight, but in another broadcast we'll do. You'll see my face on that one, where that one we're going to show it's a tribe in Africa. And man, they have a very unique way of greeting one another. So I'll show you that. That was really, really cool. Anyway, but that's who we are. That's, you know, we have a very unique way of embodying this stuff. And so we can be emotional, right? And so this system knows that. And so this system is always trying to pull on us to stay in this high emotional state, specifically trying to keep us in a perpetual state of anger. And that is how they change, you know, that's how they control, because they get you angry and then they raise up somebody that can point you in the direction they want you to go, you know. And so anyway, that's the gist of it. That's what this system is all about here. And so that's what we were talking about in that video. All right. And then a few other things. So if you didn't see it, make sure you check it out. Also, make sure you check out a video that I just dropped over on Samba Tree. We talked about the history of weeds. I know that may sound kind of boring to you, but I think you're going to like this one, because it's really going to open up your perspective on something that many of us walk by every day. And so you're going to check it out. Please go over there and check it out. It's over on sambatree.com. Okay, so next, let's get into, and I told you a little bit later, maybe right after this song, I'm gonna show you some very neat things I came across online pertaining to Black American history. I tell you, we have such a rich history, and we got to do everything we can to make sure that we're preserving it. But anyway, next, I'm going to play for you a song that I wrote, I put together. I didn't do the music though. I had to go on AI for that. And the name of this song, I'm in this ballad mood now all of a sudden. So I actually did a ballad, you know, not too long ago. And this one is another one. And the name of this ballad is Waterfalls and Raindrops. And basically this ballad is about a tree, and it's telling the story of a tree that was jealous of another group of trees, and it's just a whole story. So I actually have two versions of this song. I have a version that is the one I'm getting ready to play for you now, which is the soul version. And then when we're finished tonight, I will play for you the one that's a calm version. All right. And so you tell me in the comments which one you like. So that's it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and play this song for you that I put together. It's called Waterfalls and Raindrops. I hope you like it.
I was planted in the open, white sky over me, roots in ordinary ground, as far as I could see. But every time the sunlight fell, I'd lift my eyes and pray to the trees by the waterfall, so green, so far away. They shimmered in the distance like they never knew a drought, water rushing at their feet while I was counting drops. And every year I stretch myself, just trying to belong, wondering why my growing always felt so slow, so wrong. I said, Lord, am I broken? Am I standing in the wrong place? Why does my reaching feel heavy when there's looks like grace? Oh, waterfalls and raindrops, they don't sound the same. One comes loud and shining, one whispered your name. I thought I needed rivers pouring down on me, but sometimes the strongest tree needs just the raindrops to be. Then an older voice beside me, roots wrapped deep in time, said, young one, lift your head now, you've been growing just fine. He said, you see those trees you envy, standing tall and proud. I've watched some fall when storms rolled in, though they had all that water allowed. He said, you missed them all in dew, you missed the quiet rain, you missed the strength you gathered in every season of restraint. When you thought you were rising, when you fought behind the rest, your roots were finding places that the surface never lets. He said, death don't always show itself in a height you see above. Some growth happens underground where patience learns to love. Waterfalls and raindrops, they don't grow as the same. And these what spills up one sting thins what remains. I thought I needed ocean crashing down on me, but sometimes the strongest tree is just the raindrops to be. For the edge of the water, not every life was built for display. Some of us were chosen for the quiet soil where storms test the roots and still we stay. You don't meet my mansion, but a gold line speed. You don't need the starlight to be proudly. If the rain still finds you, if you're still receding, you're becoming exactly what you are meant to be. Waterfalls and raindrops go come from the sky. That one can make you shallow if you never realize. So I thank every teardrop, every snow going in, every tree that I'm becoming. What shade right here. So you're standing in the quiet, feel his wall and see. Just know the rain is working when no one else can see. Sometimes the strongest tree needs just the
All right, that was Waterfalls and Raindrops. That's one we just dropped, today, and that was for our Samba Tree family members. And yeah, you could check out if you are wanting that. Make sure you go to our community page here on YouTube, and it will say post. I think it says up there now. Just go to the post section, and I believe it's the latest post. You will see a link to our Samba Tree, a latest Samba Tree email. Make sure you click on that, and you will find a link to that. Also, we included some other free goodies in there too, so make sure you check that out. Always trying to hook up our family members over on ensembletree.com. So make sure you check that out. Yeah, if that's something you like, that's it. I have another version that I will be playing at the close of our broadcast, and you tell me which one you like. I have my personal favorite, but I actually like both of them. Most importantly, I really like the words. I really do. Tell you, the more and more I'm writing, the easier it's getting, to do this. And I'm so glad I'm able to do this and to provide it for you. Anyway, let me bring this up on the screen here. I found this to be really something. This is Black History Month, so let me share this with you. I found this to be quite interesting. Let's take a look at this. This was, I think it was the Detroit Urban League, if I'm not mistaken. I had somewhere, I was trying to look for it, I couldn't find it, but yeah, I think this is the Detroit Urban League. If I find it, I'll if I repost it, I'll put the note down there and tell you exactly where it comes from. But anyway, let's take a look at this. This is Black folks back in the day, y'all. And some things just don't change, do they? But I found this to be quite interesting. But anyway, let's take a look at it. Helpful hints. And they said, don't carry on loud conversations or use vulgar or obscene language on the streetcars, streets, or in public places. Remember that this hurts us as a race. Don't go about the streets or on the streetcar in bungalow aprons, boudoir caps, and house slippers. Wear regular street clothes when you go into the streets. Wow. I know a lot of people will be angry at that. Oh my gosh. See, we had standards, y'all. Our history, we had standards. We were very proud people, and that's what we were about. And now we just call it, just going with the flow. Anyway, try to dress neatly at all times, but don't be a dude or wear flashy clothes. They are undesirable and harmful, and as harmful as unclean clothes. So they say, you ain't trying to stand out. You ain't got to do all that. Anyway, here we go. Don't think you can hold your job unless you are on time, industrious, efficient, and sober. Now, this Black folks talking to Black folks now. All right. Anyway, don't sit in front of your house or around Belle Isle or public places with your shoes off. Don't wear overalls on Sunday. Here's another one. Don't stay away from work every time someone gives a picnic or boat ride. Stay on your job. Others do. Here's another one. Don't spend all your money for pleasure. Save some of it for extra clothing and fuel for the winter, and to take care of your family and yourself when sickness comes. Here's another one. And then they have under here, you see this picture, it says general disorderly appearance on the left-hand side. And then over here, they have neatly clothed and orderly appearance. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, let's look at this one here. Don't forget that cleanliness and fresh air are necessary to good health. Keep your windows open. Don't do your children's, and remember, y'all, there was a time that a lot of houses didn't even have air conditioning. Like that was air conditioning. Oh my gosh. I mean, you really living high on the hog if you had an air condition. The air conditioning was windows open or fan on. But anyway, and by the way, I'll just throw this in here. Like a fan, if you do turn a fan on, make sure you have a window open too, because otherwise all you're doing is recirculating all of that bad air. So make sure you have a window cracked open. Anyway, let's move on. Don't do your children's hair up into the alleys, canals, or knots if you don't want other children to make fun of them. Keep them clean. Let me read that again. It says, don't do your children's hair up into alleys, canals, or knots if you don't want other children to make fun of them. Keep them clean. Yeah, someone maybe can give a little clarity on that. I'm not too sure what they're trying to say here. Or are they trying to say don't braid your hair? I don't know. Because, you know, there was a time when a lot of black folks wanted to straighten their hair. I can't imagine doing that. A funny story that I actually accidentally did that. I got one of those wave kits. This was back in the 80s. I got one of those wave kits, and I didn't brush my hair. You know, you put that cream on and it straightens your hair first, and then you just got to keep brushing it, and eventually it supposedly wave up. Well, I kept doing that, and my hair never waved up. So my hair came out straight. But anyway, then I had someone tell me, it was like, Dwayne, why are you getting on them kits? All you got to do is get yourself a good brush. Just keep brushing it every day and your hair will wave up. And that's exactly what it did, man. I love our hair. Anyway, let's see. Don't keep your children out of school. See that they attend the nearest school to you. Don't fail to start a savings account with some good bank or building loan association. Here's another one. Don't throw refuse or tin cans in the back or front yards. Keep your surroundings as clean as possible. This makes for good health. And then we'll dip down here on the bottom here. It says, don't fool with patient medicines. Wait a minute, what did I say there? Don't fool with patient medicines in case of sickness. Send for a good doctor in case you have no money. Go to some of the Board of Health clinics. And all right, let's move on. Don't be rude and ugly to people on the streets. Be courteous and polite, and thereby keep out of trouble. Here's another one. Don't fail to meet the teachers of your children. Uh-oh. That's another one of those things that never got passed down. Don't fail to meet the teachers of your children. Keep in touch with them. Every hateful thing that your child says about your teacher is not true. Gosh. Wow, that just went straight in the toilet. Dang on it. Anyway, don't fail to become connected with some church as soon as you get into the city. That's the church was a centerpiece. It was the networking center or the hub particularly for the black community. And that makes a whole lot of sense, and a lot of black people, they used to do that. When you come into a new city, the first thing you did is you connected with a local black church. And that's where you found out got the 411 on everybody and everything. That's how, during after service, you'll find out who's hiring in town. You'll find out where can I go to the best barber, where can I get my clothes, my shoes done and all of that. The church was a centerpiece for that. But it's not anymore. It's far from it. Anyway, let's see. And the last one, it says, don't make lots of unnecessary noise going to and from baseball games. If the parks are taken away from you, it will partly be your own fault. Wow. I love playing folk. I mean, that's why I like looking at those old movies. Some of them, they got some whatever in it. But, man, those old movies, the folks will be straight up. Just straight up. And it was like no issue. It was like, I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to be straight up and tell you. And I just really was something. I came across that. I was like, wow, that's really something. And I'm so glad to be able to come across that. Well, here's another thing I came across here. let me get a screen grab of this. Give me just a moment here. I know some of y'all in the wrestling world who are fans of wrestling, or like, older people used to say the wrestling world. I need to watch my Saturday wrestling. How many of y'all grew up with someone used to say wrestling? Anyway, black folks, we were very much into wrestling. And let me get this image up here. That would be here and here. All right, let me get that up here. Check this out. First time in the whole world, Negro Girls World Tournament winner to meet African ferocious black pussycat for Negro Girls World Title and Championship belt. All Negro Girl wrestlers are invited. So check out these wrestlers. This is before WWF, WWE, and all of that, right? You had black women who were wrestlers. All right, so we got Ethel Johnson, she in the house. We got Kathleen Wembley, and this is the Black Pussycat. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Anyway, we got Marva Scott. You know she old. You ain't gonna find nobody if your name is Marva and you're in 2025. Yes, you have you are of a much mature world, and yeah, and it's okay. We're not making fun of you. I'm just saying it's, these names like Louise. That's the next one. Louise. That's not a 2026 name. But it's okay. It was beautiful, and it still is beautiful. Everybody got an Aunt Louise or Auntie Marva. Anyway, but they were beautiful. They were definitely beautiful. Let's move on. Someone asked me, do you have a link to that booklet? I don't, but I can figure out a way to. What I'll do is I'll put this somewhere. If you're in the, I'll definitely put it in our digital library. If you're in the digital library, I'll make a folder for it. If you're not, I'll still try to make it available for everybody. Okay. I just mentioned the digital library because it's just so much easier for me to share things that way. But if not, that's cool because I'll try to make it available another way. Anyway, Babs Wingo. And then we got, Lulu May. Lulu May, she said, I'm just going to have my goodies all the way out. Lulu May, she ain't playing. She said, I ain't playing. And Lulu May Provo in the house. Then we got Ramona Isbell. That's another wrestler. Then we got Tina Cole. I used to like how they used to take pictures like that, old photos like that. Tina Cole in the house. And we got Mary Horton, another wrestler. Did we just? I thought maybe I just saw her. Anyway, we got Betty White, the other Betty White. Let me get her up here. Okay, Betty White. We got Lola Lore. She definitely had a white mammy or pappy. We got Dinah Beeman. That's not a wrestling picture. That's more of a like she just graduated from something. She was just grabbing anything. That's all right. They all beautiful. Anyway, move on to Etta Charles in the house. Virginia Franklin. Angela Burt. Y'all, they could have did a better job with that photo though. They could have done, maybe that's the look that she was going for, but yeah, that's she's a wrestler. I tell you what, that's actually for that time, that's probably a little more legit anyway. That I get wrestler vibes with her. All these other ones, they look like they beauty queens or something. So I don't know what's going on. Angela, she about that business. I'm gonna make a full bag tonight. Anyway, Mary Jane Robinson. Esther Jackson. Then we got Lillian Duke in the house. We got Jean Lapria. Then we got Carol Colum. And then the last one is Barbara Ryan. All of these were wrestlers back in the day for this thing here. The first time in the whole world, Negro Girls World Tournament. Winner to meet African ferocious black pussycat for Negro Girls World Title and Championship belt. All Negro Girls wrestlers are invited. Anyway, thought that was really neat. Really neat. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put on some more music here. And let me see. I'm going to dig in the crates here and see if I can find some other some other slices of Black American history here that's quite interesting here. So give me just a moment. Let me spin some more music for you, and let me see if I can find for you. All right. Name of this one is called It's Clear. And it is. All right. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And so glad that for whoever is, for those that are out there, really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And I hope you got lined up a wonderful weekend, and that's what we definitely want to have. We want to have a great day and do everything we can to make sure we're having a great day and a restful evening. Got some more images for you I think you'll find of great interest. Now, this individual, well, she's definitely not, I would say, Black history per se, but it actually makes a very interesting point here. For those of you who are old enough, you guys may remember Alice from the Brady Bunch. And it's really something. When I saw this image, I was like, wow. That makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense because I was like, when you look at some of these older shows and movies and then you find out that these people were like younger than you were. And I'm like, why they look so old? Well, a lot of it had to do with how they dressed and particularly how they styled their hair, particularly for women. Now, this is Alice on the left. That's the Alice that I know. She was the maid on the show, The Brady Bunch. That's the Alice that everybody knows, right? That's who she looked like. She just looked older, right? But if she was living during this day and age, that's what her hair would look like on the right hand side. I thought that was something. I said, I had to crack up at that. I was like, wow, that is quite interesting. That's why you got like Kim Kardashian's mom out here, you know, she's about in her 70s, you know, getting on facelifts and all that stuff and looking still scary because, you know, they have all the lighting and all of that kind of stuff and the filters and all that stuff. Because trust and know, they turn off all those lights and all that stuff to take off all that makeup. It probably looks like a whole freak show for real. And, but at least those people, you know, kept it 100. Then I'll give them that. Here's another one that I came across I thought was interesting here. Let me get this. Cab Calloway in the house. Let's bring him on board here. You know, he represented the jazz culture. He was a strong representative of the jazz culture that we created here in the United States. And that was a very deep culture. It had its own styles and vibe and all of that. And, you know, they had their own slang. Well, someone put together here a dictionary called the Hipsters Dictionary, you know, and how they used to talk back then. Now, for some of you younger people looking at, wait a minute, he looked white. Well, I think he was I'm pretty sure he was part white. He was very light skinned, very, very light skinned. But, you know, he was definitely black. You know, he just was able to get into more doors than the dark skinned folks were. Anyways, this one is a bit blurry. If I can find a cleaner one, I'll add it to our folder and our collection there. But anyway, I'll just go over a few of them here. Ain't coming on that tab. Now, I could say this just regular, y'all, but, you know, I'm just reading it here because, you know, I haven't talked like this. I never talk like this. But anyway, so ain't coming on that tab. What does that mean? It says, I can't see. It's so blurry. Anyway, here's another one. It says Apple. The big something. I'm trying to see what that means. I can't tell. It's so blurry. I need to get a cleaner copy. Barbecue. The girlfriend, a beauty. Yeah, there's gonna be some barbecue out there. I guess that's what they're trying to say. Beat up the chops. Blues and grays, slip, cat, clam bake. Let's see, cooling, crept out like the shadow. Yeah, dig. You know, people still say that. Dillinger. Cut rate. Dime note. That's $1. That's a $10 bill. Hey, I like that one. A dime note. Early black. They said that's the evening. Early bright. That's the one. I never heard of that one. It said early black. That's the evening. And early bright. That's the morning. And they say evil. I can't tell what that says. Fallout. They said Faust. An ugly girl. A hag. Dang. Okay. Let me see here. Got your glasses on? Lay some iron. And they said to tap dance. That meant tap dance. Let's see. In the groove. Main kick. And they got some other ones, y'all. If I could read them, I sure would, but it's hard to see. But I'll see if I can find a cleaner copy for you, and then we can get that up as well. But another piece of Black American history. I love it. Anyway, another thing for you, I just was like, what? Let me pull this up here on the screen. Now, this has to do with Haiti. I didn't know this. I said Haiti was forced to remove an image of revolutionary leader Toussaint Louverture from its Winter Olympic uniform. But designer Stella Jean kept an image of his horse as a reminder of the slave revolt he led against France. I didn't know that. Isn't that crazy? They got offended because this was part of their history. They didn't want to remember that part of history. When these Negroes got together and ran these French people out of here, they didn't want that. They said, no. We don't want that. So she said, okay, I'll just put the horse up there. But you know me, I'm sorry, that wouldn't have been enough for me. I would have had his face on something. Look, I would have came up there on wearing a hat. How about that? Maybe I would just wore the hat. Maybe I would have done that. But no, you ain't. No. We ain't. You ain't gonna tell us jack. You hear me? You ain't telling us nothing. Anyway, I thought that was interesting too. Let me see if I have one other thing here, and then we'll just close out with one more piece of music here. Let me see. Oh, this was another one that I thought was good here. Let me take a screenshot here. And here it is right here. I thought this was a really good one. Pull this up for y'all. Here it is. There we go. All right. Did you know this? Who built America? Or look, another inconvenient fact. Southern railroad companies began buying slaves as early as the 1840s and used enslaved labor almost exclusively to construct their lines. Isn't that something? So a lot of these railroads that you see, the railroad lines, and again, you can go in there, there's videos out that show how the black folks or black men, they would have a whole sign, the railroad, a whole song, a series of songs that would sing as they were laying down the what you call it, the iron. They were laying down the rails. They would do it to song. That's all part of our history and then some. So again, we have a very rich history, and be careful out there in these internet streets, because you got people out there, man, that they just be making stuff up. I mean, they'll have like, did you know that Alexander Graham Bell, he was actually black, and they're using some AI, and it's like, y'all don't do that. We ain't got to do all that. We really don't have to do that, y'all. Our history is very rich indeed, and we don't need to do that, man. So anyway, all right. So what I'm going to do, as promised, we're going to close out with another version of the song Waterfalls and Raindrops. And I was trying to decide which one I was going to include. So I included both of them, on our latest album. And like I said, again, if you want a free copy of it, you most certainly are welcome to it. Just go to our community post page here on YouTube, and you will find a link that will take you there. You got to go to our Samba Tree email, and you'll find it in there. And we got some other goodies in there for you as well. But anyway, that's it. Like I said, again, I wasn't going to go heavy in the news or anything like that. We did talk about a few things, but, again, we are about peace here. All right. We're going to get into the hard stuff. We do talk about the hard stuff. We confront a lot of things that are very uncomfortable that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So take a look around if you're brand new to the platform, and you'll see we do that all the time. But it's also important to make sure that we are setting aside time for peace. And that's what we're about to do here as we are signing off. Thank you so much as always, you guys. Really appreciate you guys being here. And this is the calm version of our song that we put together. It's called Waterfalls and Raindrops. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys take care, and let's get to it, all right?
I was planted in the open, white sky over over me, roots in ordinary ground, as far as I could see. But every time the sunlight fell, I lift my eyes and pray to the trees by the waterfall, so green, so far away. They shimmered in the distance like they never knew a drought, water rushing at their feet while I was counting drops. And every year I stretch myself, just trying to belong, wondering why my growing always felt so slow, so wrong. I said, Lord, am I broken? Am I standing in the wrong place? Why does my reaching feel heavy when theirs looks like grace? Oh,
Falls and raindrops,
they don't sound the same.
one comes loud and shining.
One whispers your name,
Thought I needed rivers,
pouring down on me. But sometimes the strongest tree needs just the raindrops to be. Then an older voice beside me, roots wrapped deep in time, said, young one, lift your head now. You've been growing just fine. He said, you see those trees you envy, standing tall and proud. I've watched them fall when storms rolled in, though they had all that water loud. He said, you miss the morning dew, you miss the quiet rain, you miss the strength you gathered in every season of restraint. When you thought you weren't rising, when you fell behind the rest, your roots were finding places that the surface never lets. He said, depth don't always show itself in the heights you see above. Some growth happens underground where patience learns to love. Oh,
waterfalls and raindrops,
they don't grow us the same.
what's visible.
One strengthens what remains. I
Thought I needed oceans,
crashing down on me, but sometimes the strongest tree is just the raindrops to be. Not every tree was meant for the edge of the water. Not every life was built for display. Some of us were chosen for the quiet soul, where storms test the roots and still we stay. You don't need the mansion or the gold line street. You don't need the spotlight to be complete. If the rain still finds you, if you're still receiving, you'll become exactly what you were meant to be. Oh,
waterfalls and raindrops,
both come from the sky,
but one can make you shallow.
if you never learn why. So
I thank every teardrop,
every slow growing year, 'cause the tree that I'm becoming was shaped right here. So if you're standing in the quiet, feeling small, unseen, just know the rain is working where no one else can see. Yeah, sometimes the strongest tree needs just the raindrop.